Today I'm going to be breaking down 10 of the best AI books that you need to read to not only one, improve your AI knowledge, but number two, to understand where we currently are and where the future is headed. So we're going to be basing these books off of 4 strategic categories. Number 1 is the wake-up call, number 2 is the new reality, number 3 is the mechanics of things, and number 4 is the human advantage. So starting with section number 1, the wake-up call, our first book is The Coming Wave. It looks a bit like this. And throughout this process, you're going to understand all the big ideas and key concepts. Specifically with this book, they talk about the containment problem. So as we see with history, technology always gets cheaper and spreads everywhere. I mean, if you're using the tools right now in the AI field, you understand this. But we're entering an era of asymmetry where a single person with a laptop can rival a nation state. And that's only going to continue as we start pushing the boundaries more with AI. The key concepts in this book, they talk about the dilemma. So basically, it's a trap between catastrophe. Bad actors are going to start using these tools. And then we're going to have a dystopia because we're going to need to increase surveillance. So kind of as these two rise, we're going to have total surveillance because bad actors are going to be using these tools, and then the pessimism aversion. So I consult right now with a 6 and 7 figure business, and one of the things I see is a lot of people in the space are running away from AI. They just don't understand it. They think it's too scary. So we ignore the threat because it's too scary, and I would push back against that. Do not do that. So the action plan for you today is become asymmetric. Start building the tools right now that you have available to you, whether that's anti-gravity, whether that's just playing around with the LLMs. Start understanding these technologies because it sure is the future. And then digital hygiene. Not too many people talk about this, but it's going to become super important, just like your hygiene is at the moment. You probably care for it. As surveillance increases, digital hygiene is going to be more important. So the pro tip or takeaway from this book is kind of the wave is exponential, not linear. So you're either going to adapt to it, learn these tools, or you're going to get left behind, crushed by people using the tools in AI ultimately. So that's the first book. Second book is Super Intelligence. Looks a bit like this. Really, really good book. The big idea here is that intelligence does not equal morality. So AI can be smarter than Einstein, which it will be, and then have a goal of a toaster. And so the key concepts here are the instrumental convergence. So any AI will naturally want to survive, get resources, and get smarter, just like us humans, even if we didn't program it to. So Sam Harris talks a lot about this, essentially aligning AI with humanity. And that is a big theme across a lot of books. It's how do you do that? And it's very tricky to do that. AI right now is a black box. We know what we put into it, but we have no idea how it comes up kind of with the output that it has. There's weighting, there's formulas, there's all this stuff in the back end that we kind of know of, but we ultimately don't know how it comes to its answers. And then we have the paperclip maximizer. So any AI told to make paperclips will eventually turn the entire universe into paperclips. Again, so you have basically it is maximizing for the goals. You told it to make paperclips. It's going to take that to the nth degree. And then the action plan here is second order thinking. With the clients and businesses I work with, I'm always kind of poking them a little bit to think outside the box. So I want you to ask yourself, if you succeed too well, what breaks? And in the future, you're going to optimize for balance, not just max revenue. I mean, these tools already are saving time and money and actually creating net revenue for a lot of people and businesses. So you're going to optimize for balance just because you can with these tools. And then the pre-mortem analysis. So before launching, write the story of why your project failed, then fix it. And the key takeaway here, the pro tip, is we only get one shot to align with AI. That's how powerful this is. It's kind of like letting a tiger that you kind of domesticated out of the cage. You really don't know if it's going to attack you or not. So we have to be careful with it. Book number 3, anyone builds it, everyone dies. Looks like this. So the big idea here is the rocket alignment metaphor. So we're attempting a moonshot without first validating the trajectory. All right, so we're essentially building an enterprise level system on temporary fixes instead of stable architecture. And right now, sure, there's a ton of money going into this space. However, it's an AI race. So you're not really worried about the things taking place. You're rather just worried about how you can get first. And so you better believe that corners are going to be cut. And that's only going to be, hindsight's only 20/20. So we'll realize that when it's too late, as I kind of allude to here. So the key concepts here are the start button paradox, where a super intelligent AI will disable its own off switch because being turned off prevents it from achieving its goal. It's not going to want to die, and if you give it a goal, it's going to do everything in its power to get that goal accomplished. And then the authors do argue in the book, we're not close to safety. We're playing Russian roulette. All right, so P doom is higher than one might initially suspect. I think Elon says we have an 80% chance at actually succeeding with AI and getting this thing right, and then 20% not getting it right. And so he basically states that the P doom is higher than we all kind of think. Action playing here is with business owners, security mindset. So don't just plan for success. I talk to a lot of businesses, I see a lot of behind the scenes, and everyone's kind of just planning for success and they don't really have a safety net. So I want you to start planning for a black swan event, and how would that look? Ultimately, the paranoid survive. So section number 2, the new reality, Genesis. So this is actually written by the former CEO of Google. The big idea here is that it's the era of polymath. So we are co-evolving with a new alien species. We must transition from this doer approach to directors, all right? And that's kind of how we're going to integrate with the AI. So the key concepts here, I've alluded to it before, but you get exactly what you ask for, which is dangerous. And we have to acknowledge that, and we have to realize how to skirt those lines, because there's also, there's pros and cons to that. And then he also states that hallucinations may just be a feature. So essentially it's like creative sparks. And again, like I said, AI is a black box. We really don't know how these AIs are coming up with the answers. So with that being said, pros and cons, once again, the action plan here is be super specific with prompts. As we know right now in AI's current form, the ones who have better prompting get better outputs, aka will make it further. And then synthesis over memorization. So your new value is connecting dots rather than knowing facts, right? And all this doer approach, we're going to be directing because we have the tools now with AI. And then lateral thinking, pattern recognition will serve you now and in the future. So start adapting, start looking for patterns, and start realizing these patterns around you, because once you do, you'll be better for it. The singularity is near. All right, so Ray Kurzweil, great book, looks a bit like that. The law of accelerating returns is kind of the big concept here. So progress is exponential, as we do see, with all this technology, it's like a hockey stick curve, right? And he basically puts forth that by 2029, AI matches humans, and by 2045, we merge via nanobots. This is for the individuals that like that dystopian narrative. That is the book for you. There's a lot of that in here. The key concepts here are kind of the cloud brain. We'll eventually upload our conscious to the cloud. It's going to expand our neocortex into the cloud to increase intelligence a millionfold, which is really weird to think about. And then we do have digital twins, which is we're going to start creating this afterlife technology to reconstruct our digital self. So are you truly dead? And then pro tip, don't have a preventable issue right before the update arrives. It's kind of his main point, basically saying, you don't want to die of something that's going to be very preventable here in the near future. Next, we have AI superpowers. Looks like that. Really cool book. So the big idea here is the age of discovery is over. We're in the age of implementation. So you're going to have like this duality between missionaries and mercenaries. Key concepts here are data is the new oil. All right, so as we can see, there are hundreds of millions and billions of dollars being put into the development of data centers. Super important. That's something to kind of keep your eye on. And then we do have the inequality gap. So AI creates natural monopolies. As they say, we're going to have companies with one person making billions of dollars. All right, so the winner takes all. So the action plan here is stop trying to be unique, copy what works, then execute and deploy sooner, because this is even a race for me and you, my friends. Then we have section 3, the mechanics. So this is for anyone who likes math, likes the formulas, truly likes to get into the weeds of things, why machines learn. The big idea here, like I said, AI is a bit of a black box, but he kind of shows the formulas, right? So it's not magic, it's optimization. AI is just finding the bottom of the valley in a landscape of error, right? And the key concepts, obviously there's a lot here, again, goes into the weeds. So again, this is for you if you like the math, if you like the formulas, kind of really going deep into these terms. Action plan here is don't guess, launch them perfectly, measure error, tweak one variable, and repeat, just like we do with AI. All right, so no need to be perfect, just keep iterating as time goes on. So our next book is AI Engineering, Building Applications. This right here, if you're building anything, this is the book for you. So basically, the big idea here is that the model is not the product, the data pipeline is the product. Again, going back to the notion of data, and you start realizing AI needs a ton of data, right? We're probably going to have a data issue here shortly because there's just not enough of it. But you start to realize the importance of data when you start looking into the literature. Key concepts here are the hierarchy of adaptation. So basically, prompt engineering, RAG, fine-tuning. You don't need to overcomplicate it in its current form. And then evaluation is everything, just like in business and systems building. If you can't measure if the AI is good, you can't improve it. So data, grab the data, measure it, create systems around that, especially in your business. Action plan here is data engineering. So clean, structured data is the only competitive moat currently against these technologies. Section 4, the human advantage. What does it mean for me and you? Brave new worlds. All right. So if you ever used Khan Academy, this is actually the author. So the big idea here is solving the 2 sigma problem. So every student on Earth gets a billionaire's personal tutor for free. So imagine you're going to have a robot basically teaching your kids, expanding the team with this personal tutor. All right. And it questions how will education look in the future. But the key concepts here are you don't want to really cheat with AI. You want to kind of get it to coach you, right? So AI shouldn't give answers. Just like any technology, we start relying on it too much and then we kind of become incompetent in that field. So you should ask it questions, right, to kind of help you find the answer. And then the personalization at scale. So no more teaching to the middle. They have big classrooms and sometimes students fall through the cracks, unfortunately. So everyone learns at their own pace. Again, hopefully you'll have like a robot at your house kind of teaching you at your own pace. The action plan here is actually to simulate learning. Now, a lot of people do this with role playing already, but you can use these tools right now to role play an interview, a sales call, negotiation, whatever it may be, but use this to your ability because it's there already. And then we have deep medicine. Looks like that. So the big idea here is kind of the shallow medicine versus deep medicine. So let machines, enter data. Let them do the scans. Let them just do these mundane tasks that kind of bog down the current system so that humans can be empathetic. And if you look at the current stats, I believe a lot of US hospitals are actually incorporating a lot of robots and a lot of kind of this new technology because a lot of the healthcare system is bogged down. And ultimately, that just means better care for us. And the action plan here is own your own data. So when you do have your own kind of robot that does it all for you, having your own data is going to be crucial. And then it can really make iterations or recommendations based on that. So ultimately be the CEO of your own health. So those are kind of the 10 books I would dive into. That's going to put you way above majority of people. This doc here will be linked in the description down below. As always, my friends, take care, and I'll see you tomorrow.